First News with Kevin Miller, joined by U.S. Senator Tom Cotton. Good morning to you, sir. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good, Kevin. How are you?
Doing well. We have the news this morning. The GOP healthcare bill is apparently dead in the water. This is something that you worked on. Your thoughts on this situation?
Well, yes, Kevin, a bit of a setback for that bill last night as we lost two more senators. Senator McConnell, though, has said that he's going to bring back a bill on which 49 Republican senators voted back in December of 2015, just 18 months ago. And I know that the two new Republican senators, John Kennedy and Luther Strange, would vote for it as well. That bill would simply repeal Obamacare and put a 2-year timeline on it to develop a new replacement health care policy. I think that's a prudent step. We all voted for that before. We all had an election on it. Everybody knew where we stood. So that's what we're looking to going forward. We certainly can't drop health care, though. It's too important to too many Arkansans to just walk away from it.
Kevin Miller, along with Senator Tom Cotton on News Radio 102.9 KARN. Why is the repeal of Obamacare without a plan a good course of action?
Kevin, Obamacare is continuing to hurt more and more Arkansans. There's some people that have benefited from it, obviously. I don't dispute that. But many more Arkansans are paying more out of pocket. They're having trouble finding a doctor of their choice. They're not able to get the kind of insurance that they need that suits their families. So if we can't develop a new system right away because there's too many disagreements within the Senate, I still think we need to put the marker down. We need to fulfill the promise on which we campaigned for 4 straight elections, and then we can have another election because that bill on which we all voted 2 years ago has a 2-year timeline on it. So that would allow us to reach the kind of consensus we need. It would also allow the American people to render their verdict on what they want from their health care system in the future.
Senator Tom Cotton on News Radio 102.9 KARN. The replacement bill that you worked on, what were the biggest objections of the Republican senators who chose not to vote for this?
Well, Kevin, part of the challenge is that you had multiple objections from different elements and factions of the Republican caucus. So a few people, on the right side of our caucus thought it didn't go far enough. Some of the more liberal Republicans were worried about some of the changes returning to what Obamacare had changed. So it was hard to thread the needle with a mere 52-vote majority. I would have liked to have seen us start the debate at least. I think that's why we were sent to Washington to have a debate. Can't really render a verdict on the final legislation until we've had that debate. We've gone through the open amendment process and know what the final bill would look like. But I am disappointed that we didn't even get a chance to have a debate and have votes on the amendments in that proposal.
Kevin Miller with Senator Tom Cotton on News Radio 102.9 KARN. Senator, we've talked about this before, but I go back to the 7+ years since Obamacare first went through Congress and was passed. And all that time, the GOP, you've told me, had any number of different plans there. Why is the GOP not getting together and coming up with a game plan to get this done?
Well, Kevin, that's the exact issue, is that we had a multiplicity of plans. And again, some of those plans appeal to certain Republican senators and other appeals to different groups. When you're in opposition, it's one thing to have a multiplicity of plans, but when you're in the majority, when you control the House and the Senate and the White House, frankly, it's incumbent upon the governing party to reach that kind of consensus. I'm disappointed we didn't. I wish that the 4 no votes on this bill, and maybe more who will announce their opposition today, that it's not moving forward, would have at least allowed us to start debate and seeing where the votes are and reach that kind of consensus. But again, healthcare is too important to too many Arkansans for us to simply, drop it and walk away from it and move on to other issues, as important as they may be. We have to do something to stop the harms that people are suffering from the Obamacare system.
Senator Tom Cotton on News Radio 102.9 KARN. A statement from your office on the Iran deal that happened 2 years ago. Refresh, if you would, very quickly, the deal, what it involved, and how that's affecting us now.
Well, the Iran deal was a very bad deal, very dangerous to Americans. It purported to put some curbs on Iran's nuclear program for 8 to 15 years, but frankly, that's the blink of an eye in the life of a nation. A similar deal with North Korea led North Korea getting nuclear weapons 12 years later, and look where we are now with North Korea. Moreover, that deal did nothing to address Iran's campaign of aggression throughout the Middle East, its support for terrorism, its violation of human rights of its own citizens. So yesterday was a deadline for the president to certify that Iran is complying with the deal and that it's within the interests of the U.S. to continue it. I had suggested to him, both in a public letter and in private conversations, that I would certify that. I think his heart and his instincts are with me, but he has a lot of people in his administration who want a little bit more time to complete their Iran review. I'm okay with that, but time for reviewing is coming to an end. Time deciding is coming up, and the Iran deal is not making America safer.
Kevin Miller with Senator Tom Cotton on News Radio 102.9 KARN. Senator, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Kevin. Take care.
Good morning. 7:58 News Radio 102.9 KARN. What's happening in the market?